Good morning, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warrior and Vigor Warriors 2. This is Vigor Warriors 2. Your reporter, your facilitator, someone to kind of hopefully guide and help you think about things differently to make your life better. Please go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. As you can tell, I use a lot of the comments and ideas that from your emails, from things that you say, to be able to kind of help kind of go through some ideas and make things hopefully better for you and your life as goes on. So please go ahead and do that. Sometimes I forget to say these things, and also sometimes I forget to go ahead and put the donation on there, but please do so. It helps the cause a great deal, and I greatly appreciate it. It just motivates me to say that there's people out there who need this, who really kind of like the information, and hopefully get inspired and motivated to stay on long streaks that as long as you can. So, all right, so we're going to go and take the first one we did was on focus with Young Justice's class question, and now we're going to focus on Shubham question on weight. So let's kind of focus on weight a little bit here. Now the question he's asking is that he's asking about is this a perception or reality as you are on your retention? Do you gain weight? Is this real? Is this a perceived type of thing? As your mass, with your mass, when you're actually losing energy, keeping energy, things like that. So it's an interesting question, a good question. I had to do a little bit of research on it to kind of see what I knew and what I didn't know about this. And I could just tell you, and I also am using information about my weight training days and how things work within your body to also help answer this one as well. All right, so let's take the step back first to kind of say, okay, if you want to be in the best shape you can be, you obviously have to make sure that you're keeping all your energy, all your nutrients, everything inside you. Why is that? Well, if you have a depletion of those things, then all of a sudden all your energy, all your mass, all your muscle is going to be affected, because you can go ahead and eat proteins, you can go ahead and eat foods, but if you're losing energy, losing your nutrients, it's almost like you're kind of taking, 2 steps back and 1 step forward. You're not really gaining anything, and in fact, you're just maintaining. And as you get older, when it's much harder to kind of do that, it's obviously going to hurt you longer and longer. So the more you release, the more you go ahead and struggle with this demon, as I did, the less muscle, the less types of effects, positive effects you have. So I could tell you from my experiences here, I tried for many, many years to even have a 2-pack of abs. Not a 6-pack, even 2-pack. Even a 2-pack. Even see some definition out of my stomach and muscles, right? And I did not see them. I played football. I couldn't do it. I tried all kinds of different things. And in the meantime, I was not on retention, of course, and those type of things. And it just did not work. I felt like I was taking 2 steps back and 1 step forward all the time, because the whole idea is that I was able to not keep my nutrients, even though I was trying to grow and I was trying to build myself up. I didn't realize how much this hurt you. So when you're actually on retention, your body is going to feel differently to you and perceive it differently, because especially in my case, I had so many years of not being on retention that to me, it just felt like my whole body was different. But the perception of heaviness or lightness does come from the fact that you are containing your nutrients, which means that you're going to be able to grow muscle more. And that's one of the benefits that I saw. And I now have a 2-pack of abs. I'm still working on my 6, but I got a 2-pack of abs at 60 years old when I never had it for 40 some years. I couldn't even see my stomach, right? And it's because of the retention. Because what ends up happening is that as things go through your body, you're creating a system in which the nutrients are helping you augment all that protein, all those type of things into your body. Now, can you get to the point where you feel heavy? Yes, you can. It does happen because you're obviously going to have more muscle. You're going to actually have, and if you're eating the same types of things, well, then you're also going to have some weight as well. So the perception, it's more than just a perception in my mind. You're going to have some more muscle, and obviously the muscle weighs more than the fat does, right? So at some level you're going to do that. Now what you're doing is you're carving out your body. And so because muscle weighs more than fat does, you're going to feel, at least at some point, heavier. Now, eventually, what happened to me is, as I've gone through this, I think it's 682 days or something like that now, and 180 some days, 87 days of monk mode, what I'm looking at then is sculpturing your body. You know, I was saying football, I wanted to have a huge body and a big body, and I look differently than I do now. I don't want that now at 60 years old. I want a sculpture type body where I don't have a lot of weight, but I have a lot of muscle that helps me, kind of get through a lot of these years and give me energy and things like that. So when it happens, I'm looking at trying then to look for things like this. So then the other recommendations, Shubham, that I would say is that you have to really kind of, once you do this, I guess this is the other thing, you have strong motivation now because you see the effects it's having on you. And the effects is the idea that you are becoming a better, more efficient person. So along with that, then, what you should do is kind of look and say, okay, what are other things I can do to kind of augment or to help me become that best person? And that's when people start getting motivated because now they have more energy. Now their muscles, their nutrients are working in. And now what you're doing is looking at your diet. You're looking at trying to reduce all those type of things that you see in there. And I think a big part of that then is looking at what kind of foods you bring into your body. And if you add to that, then you start taking away, and my issue is two things, sugar and the carbs. So I know when I get too many carbs that I become fat. And I become heavy, I can just feel it. And it's not a perception, it's just feelings that way. And I can test myself, obviously. When I stay away from the carbs and the sugars, too much of the processed stuff is really the whole key to it. Then I look at the idea saying, okay, this makes a big difference. Now, also, and I haven't been doing a lot of this recently, I should go back to it. I have not weight trained that much lately, but if you go back and do that, that's also going to break down some muscles and be able to build muscles at no matter what age is. Now, it's going to take longer, obviously, for somebody like me at 60, almost becoming close to 61 years old, but younger people should be able to build muscle real fast. And so you're going to see a dramatic difference in your whole body because of that. And you can actually go on YouTube and see people who've been on retention for a while, and you see all, especially in their 20s and 30s, you can see how it's helped them so much with their body and how it looks and things like that. And you can see how it really kind of works. So the nutrients in your system are so important to digest and to actually kind of get things through your system. But guys, to me, now this is just me, and you have to kind of look at yourself. The carbs kill me. And I had to stay away from bread, cereals, sweets, all kinds of, those type of things. I just can't do those anymore. And I know it's kind of a, some people are upset about it, I can't have sweets, I can't have that. There's nothing wrong with trying it every so often and having a cheat day every so often. But the idea is that you don't want to kind of spend a lot of time spending time with things that make you feel bloated or make you feel fat, and that's when you can kind of feel. Then it's harder to work out. It's harder to kind of stay with it. It's easier to get tempted again. All these type of things if you don't stay on it. So, Shubham, I think that it's a great question. I would say the answer to your question is that it's not, to me, a perception. I believe the longer you keep your retention, the stronger you'll become, the more muscles, the more nutrients you'll have, and that will affect your food. So there will be a period of time when you feel heavy. But I also believe that, and what's happened to me is that all that became easier to deal with. It's almost like a bodybuilder, right? You're gaining more muscle, but it's distributed differently, and you look a lot more refined and defined in your body. And I think that's what happens when it comes to retention. And so if you go ahead and have water, augment this with working out, having a diet. We've talked about diets and things before. I won't focus a lot on that. But when you talk about different types of diets, whether it's keto, whether it's fruits, vegetables, things like that, these type of things can only help you get your body almost like an engine roaring. You don't want to have, a car that's too heavy, that's not moving at all, and the engine doesn't work half the time. You want a car that's moving fast, and look at yourself as high energy. And that's why you have to take foods in that have high energy. Now, yes, things in life like stress and things like that can bring you down as far as energy goes. But if you have that high level of energy and you have that retention, your nutrients are there, you're not going to feel as stressed out. And I haven't, and you don't feel as anxious and have a high level of anxiety, those type of things. That's important. So I'm hoping that, Shubham, that I answered your question. You can certainly send me another follow-up if you want to. I do think that even though your mass does increase, but that's mainly because you're keeping those nutrients inside of you. It's a difference between what it was before and what it is now. Normally you would have that type of mass, but because people lose energy all the time, their mass is going down. And if they do this 4 or 5 times a day, they're just killing themselves, right? All they're doing is really kind of killing themselves. They're becoming weaker and weaker, and this is why they need to sleep so much. And this is something that affects you a great deal. And so from a body standpoint, what you really want to do is make sure you're giving your body more high energy type foods to kind of move around, and not just something that's going to drag you down. And that makes a big difference when it comes to retention, because those nutrients can work in your behalf instead of trying to kind of help you. And that's why when it comes to sickness as well, that people just don't get sick. I mean, I haven't been sick in I don't know how long. I can't remember anymore. And a lot of that is contributed to the fact that, I have my nutrients. I try to take care of myself the best way I can, and I feel tremendous. So, and yes, I will have sniffles at times, and I'll cough or sneeze at times, but there's nothing there. And I think that makes a big difference. So, anyway, great question. I believe that, as a person in training, if you're a person who's trying to either train or you're trying to become better, in how you look and things like that, definitely start with retention, because you're going to keep all your vitamins and nutrients within yourself. Secondly, what you really want to do is look at your diet and make sure you kind of eliminate those things that are making you heavy and lazy and lethargic, things like that. And to me, those are carbs and sugars. You have to kind of, especially processed stuff. Someone suggested one time, and I remember this, that you got to stay away from the middle of the store, that you shop on the outside of the store is what you should be doing, which makes a lot of sense, because most of the processed foods are inside, and that's what kind of drags you down. So if you keep to the outside, fruits, vegetables, things like that, meats, you're in much better condition. So But you want to do that, and then certainly an exercise program of some sort. This also helps you as far as your weight goes and things like that. Now, I go over, and I got to keep doing this, so I apologize. I think it was Dex or someone was asking me about the Fountain of Youth stuff, and I'll get back to that one. So I really apologize for that. But I need to kind of go over and do one on that. So I get a weekend free here, or when I get some time, I'll bring the book back out and kind of do it. But the Fountain of Youth has great exercises. I think a lot of that stuff is kind of a yoga type of thing. That yoga, kind of variation yoga did from that. This has been around thousands of ages, thousands of years. So those type of exercises to create the chakras and keep them moving, all those type of things are very important. So, but I recommend that as well. So, okay, my friend, thank you for the comment and the question. I hope I answered that one, and I'm trying to get to the questions as you can. I still have one out there from Sunny Day talking about toxic family members. I will try to do that. I think maybe I'll do that about an hour or so, a couple hours. We'll see if we do a third one here, just to kind of take care of it before I forget. All right, guys, until next time, have a great day and battle on.